In this module, we're going to design the theme. Before we do anything else, we're going to design it first. The theme is made up of the colors and fonts that'll be used throughout the template, and it must be developed first before creating any layouts because they're all going to pull from this information. Any changes that are made to the theme will propagate throughout every layout, sometimes in unexpected ways that could require hours of work to fix, slide by slide by slide. So we're going to try to prevent that and make this process as smooth and predictable as possible. To start, get into PowerPoint and open a new blank presentation. If a blank presentation doesn't open, go to File, New, and then Blank Presentation. If you're on a Mac, you might have to click Create. Next, we're going to set the slide size. All slides in the template will be the same size in inches. For most decks that will be presented on screen, I recommend widescreen. There's more real estate to work with than for the more like squarish slides. And since 16:9 is the aspect ratio of most modern screens, it'll look good in that space. Side note, when I say aspect ratio, I mean the relationship between height and width. So a perfect square has an aspect ratio of 1:1, because no matter what size it is, the height and width are the same. A rectangle like your slide has an aspect ratio of 16:9 because whether it's on your screen or projected bigly on a wall, it's 16 units wide by 9 units high, or in this case, 13.3333 inches by 7.5 inches. If you divide both of those fractions, you should get the same ratio of 1.77778, roughly. Some rounding. Your monitor is probably something like 1920 by 1080. That's also 1.77778. This is outside the scope, but like all my rants are outside the scope, so what the hell? This is why when you randomly resize images without holding down Shift to lock the aspect ratio or without clicking lock aspect ratio, they look squished or stretched and basically hella amateurish. So aspect ratio is not a random detail. It's super important to make your stuff look pro. All right, ran over. To set the slide size to widescreen, click on the design menu and then click slide size in the menu bar and click widescreen. Click on slide size again. This time click custom slide size if you're on Windows or page setup on Mac OS and verify that the width and height of your slides is 13.333 inches by 7.5 inches and then click OK. Save this into the PowerPoint template folder we created previously according to your naming convention. So at this point, we're looking at the front end of the template. Even though there's nothing here yet, this space should be pretty familiar. This is where you spend most of your time when designing slides. This is called normal view. I call it the front end because on the other hand, we've got the back end. That's where we're going to set up the slide master. In short, the slide master controls the look and feel of the front end slides. To look at that back end, open the slide master. Now click on the view menu and then slide master. Expand that left sidebar and make it wider if you need it so you can see all the layouts in the template. Why do I call this the back end and not the slide master as it's called in the menu? Because it has 4 main parts and only one of them is actually the slide master. So the slide master is this one slide in that left sidebar at the top. Whatever appears on the slide master will show up on every layout underneath it. So think of it as the parent slide for all the child layouts underneath it. And then these layouts, they tell PowerPoint how to lay out various kinds of information on each slide, like text and images, bulleted lists, like where do these things go and what size should they be? What font should they have? Should it be bold? Stuff like that. That's what layouts do. And we're going to talk all about that in the next module. Now this slide that looks kind of like the slides in normal view, but it isn't because now we're in the back end, it functions quite differently. This is going to be the slide that you clicked on in the left sidebar. So here you'll either be editing the slide master, which is going to change all your slides to some extent, or just this one layout, which only changes that one layout and the slides on the front end that use that one layout. For example, if you're only working on the title slide layout, this is only going to change a slide on the front end that's using the title slide layout. And again, we're going to get into all that in the next module. And then at the top here, we have the theme. And the theme just tells PowerPoint what color palette and what fonts to use. So we're going to start with the theme. And like I said up top, the theme has to be developed first before creating the slide master or any layouts, because they're all going to follow the theme. And any changes made there will change everything. So let's get it right first, so we can get this template done as quickly as possible.